It doesn't appear that the county has logged in yet. If I'm wrong, please let me know. I don't see them. Let me just let them know. Check again. I don't see the county in yet, so let's go ahead and give it a minute. We'll go ahead and do the flag salute, which we can do. Let me just, okay, so let me just share my screen. Okay. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Just get out of there. Okay. So I'm looking again, and the county is not here. Do we have, if you would like to have public comment, I would just like to make a announcement that this is for community, our community, Rowland Heights. So I'm waiting for Lauren to log in, or Jimmy Wilson, who also said that he was going to log in. And neither have, do we have the sheriff's department here right now? Okay, do we have highway patrol here?
Denise?
Yes, sir.
David, in the chat, it says that Lauren's trying to log in, but it says that the meeting's full and she can't log in.
Jon Conk relayed that message in the chat.
38 people are able to get in, and I'm not sure why she's having problems.
Denise, the highway patrol's here.
Okay, Marco, is that you?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you give your report? I'm going to see if I can't get Lauren online.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm having some technical difficulty with my webcam, with my camera, so it's just going to be audio. I just wanted to give you guys a brief summary over the maximum enforcement period for the 4th of July. For the state of California, it started on Friday at 6 o'clock, July 2nd, and it ran until 11:59 on Monday, July 5th, we had almost 1,000 DUI arrests, 997 DUI arrests in that period. And unfortunately, we had 47 people die during that Independence Day maximum enforcement period. The DUI arrests, it translated to an average about one arrest every 5 minutes here in the state of California. So our officers were definitely out there enforcing DUI and other related matters when it came to, we were hoping to lower the amount of people that died over the weekend. 43 may not seem like a lot, but it is to us. And so we're going to continue to go and look for DUI drivers now that the pandemic is slightly beginning to lift and people are going out, staying out longer. We're seeing an increase in DUIs throughout LA County and the state. We also had, you guys might have seen on the news, on the 60 freeway by 7th Avenue, even though it's not Rolling Heights. I'm sure a lot of you commuted through that area. On Saturday, July 3rd, there was a father who was killed, who was shot with his 2 young children in the vehicle. He was going eastbound on the 60, going towards Riverside. And there was some type of road rage or altercation between him and another vehicle. And the passenger in that vehicle shot at him and his kids and shot the father and killed him. They were involved in a collision, and the 13-year-old that was in the vehicle got seriously injured. I just want to let you guys know, reiterate about not engaging in any type of road rage. It seems like people are more frustrated. They're not being very, I saw a guy this morning on the way into work in a little, like one of these little fast cars. Somebody in front of him was going 75 miles an hour, and I guess that was too slow for him. So he zipped around him, and he just gave him the middle finger as he drove by. And it just, to me, I just couldn't believe, just the carelessness, the just not being very thoughtful. The guy was going 75 miles an hour. I don't know how much faster he wanted to go. So please do not engage in any type of behavior like that. If you see something, begin to either document it with a dash cam or report any type of license plate, driver information, anything that stands out to you, because we don't know later on. Just have a mental note of it, or if you have time, jot it down, because if it continues and then you see something that's even more like an actual shooting, or let's say they're intentionally trying to ram the other vehicle, we can use that information for the investigation that would lead to probably assault with a deadly weapon. Anybody that tries to crash into you on purpose, that vehicle is considered a deadly weapon, and that's basically, in the penal code, it's 245, which is assault with a deadly weapon. And those are the charges that we would pursue in those cases. So please be more aware, help out your neighbors, help out your community by looking at that information, getting information, having it ready in case something does happen. I have a dash cam, and on the way into work, if I see something like that, I'll just say the license plate of that vehicle. I'll say it out loud so that my dash cam can hear it, and then I just keep driving. And then if something does happen, or I hear about it later in the news, then I know I have a record of it so that I can go back and I can give it to, the investigating officers so they can try to track those people down. As far as collisions, in the month of June, overall, we investigated 548 traffic collisions in the area of Rolling Heights. There were about 17 of those that were investigated. If you add in the border between Hacienda Heights and Rolling Heights, you add an additional 8. So now you're looking at about 25 collisions in Hacienda Heights or Rolling Heights area. 548. In 2019, we investigated 705 collisions. So you can see we're still not where we were pre-pandemic, but we all know that traffic is starting to pick up, and we're starting to see more traffic collisions. So again, please be aware of what's going on. As far as citations, we're continuing to see an increase in, you guys might have seen something in the news, or you might have heard about it. We did right before the 4th of July weekend, we did a campaign. It was I-5 Alive, basically looking for any type of PC violations or, a primary collision factor violation. So if it was speeding, for the most part it was speeding. I mean, we looked for speeders, but there were, if we saw any other violations, tailgating or following too close or reckless driving, we pulled them over. So in the month of June, we had close to 800 800 citations just for some type of speeding enforcement. We're going to continue to go after these people that are speeding. I know I get a lot of calls about people going extremely fast on the freeways and even on surface streets. And so we're going to look into that. I've been getting some calls about going over to Rowland Heights and some of the neighborhood areas, and we're going to continue to check those areas out and try to get some of these people that might be speeding in your neighborhoods. So if it does come up, if you guys have something like that, we can send our officers out there. But please try to talk to your neighbors. A lot of times we end up sometimes we end up pulling over the people who actually called it in. So they call in for people that are running stop signs, and then we go there and we pull over and it's happened where we pull over the person who actually called in for more enforcement. And then obviously they ask us for a break, and they say, oh, well, I wasn't talking about myself, I was talking about other people. Please don't give me a ticket. But that defeats the purpose of why we're there. So just be aware of that. Just let us know if anything like that is happening. And then we can send some of our motorcycle officers or some of our beat officers to go out there and look at those areas. I don't know if we're, Denise, are we going to take questions, or are we just going to move on? I'm not sure how the new format that you like.
Well, the format's kind of been messed up already.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions?
Unmuted.
I got a question
Teri?
answered. My hand's up. Am I recognized?
Go ahead, Roy.
Okay.
How many CHP cars are assigned to Rowland Heights? We've had several instances where, and I emailed you earlier, and they seem to have to come from Santa Fe Springs and they get diverted, whereas neighboring cities have cars assigned to them. Does Rowland Heights have any cars assigned to our area so they don't always have to wait to come from Santa Fe Springs?
No. So I did see your email and gave it to my captain. So he was actually going to talk to Lauren about those questions that you brought up. There is, in our area, there are no highway patrol officers assigned specifically to an area. We don't function that way, and so I think that's why the captain was waiting to give you the correct response. But I guess since we're here now, I can kind of give you a general idea of what we do. We patrol the unincorporated areas of LA County that are not part of some type of city or incorporated. We have to do that because the law says we have to. Rowland Heights is on the east end of what we cover, and our officers are patrolling Hacienda Heights and Rowland Heights. And we normally have, depending on how many officers are available for that given day, we have anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5 and sometimes 6 officers that patrol that entire area. That includes the entire 60 from the 605 to Fairway, and then the entire unincorporated areas of Rowland Heights and Hacienda Heights. If there's, in the email that you're talking about specifically, there was an accident that you said occurred somewhere at Gloria Here Park, and that there was that they were responding from Santa Fe Springs. I don't know if that's the case in that particular incident. I tried looking it up and I couldn't find that actual traffic collision that you were referring to. If you have more specifics, obviously after this meeting, you can email me and I can try to look for that specific accident. But in some cases, we are in Santa Fe Springs, and if it is between our shift change, there will be officers that are responding from Santa Fe Springs. Our captain tried not to have that, so we actually have an overlap. We have overlap units that come in before the actual start date of our shifts, and they come in, they get dressed out, and then they go out and they're retrieving calls, and that's in between about 30 minutes to an hour of when one shift ends and the other one starts. So they'll be coming out, and if they do have to respond from Santa Fe Springs, they will, and they'll go up to the area. I don't know as far as what you have to talk to Lauren and the supervisor's office to see what they can do as far as having us more coordinated towards Rowland Heights, but as far as my understanding, we do not have any specific contracts with any surrounding cities to where we patrol specifically in that area. The deputies might have something like that where they have extra money and where they add extra patrol, and that's because they have some extra money from the county. But I don't believe I don't believe the county has that ability with the highway patrol because we are a state agency. We can look into possibly getting more officers out into that area, but I can just tell you that our beats you know, where we're assigned, what areas we're working, are based on the volume of calls. So if the volume of calls, like in this case, I just, I just showed you guys that out of those 500 and whatever collisions we had, we only had about 18 or so that came from that area. So we're gonna have, it'd be hard for us to justify adding additional units if we can't show that, you know, there is an increase, a significant increase of traffic calls or any type of calls in that area. So that's one factor that we look at when we try to adjust our beats when it comes to adding more officers to a certain area. We could always look at that, but I just know from previous years that Rowland Heights, Hacienda Heights, 60 freeway itself are less busy. They're not, I'm not saying they're not busy, but they're less busier than the 605 or the 91 or the 5 freeway, and those, you know, some of those busier areas that we handle.
Yeah, Marcos, on that one, it was a single car that was involved. She came down the hill at a high rate of speed, went off the side of the hill where the park is, and went flying into the park where a birthday party was on. Mm-hmm. We called it in at 911 as well as several other people when we heard it. And the response we got was they would send somebody out from Santa Fe Springs and that they wanted us to assess whether or not there was an ambulance needed. Well, he eventually got out of the car, started wandering around confused, and after about a half an hour, we called 911 again. They said the officer that was sent from Santa Fe Springs was diverted. Meanwhile, somebody came and picked her up after half an hour, took her someplace, and then about 25 minutes later, Highway Patrol came, and that person that picked her up brought her back to the accident scene. But it was over about a period of an hour.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I was trying to find. If you guys can give me more specifics on the date and the approximate time, then we'll find it.
That's all we have. And then another thing was on July 4th, early in the afternoon, our neighbor called about someone racing up and down the street, and nobody ever showed. But it was early. It wasn't like when fireworks and everything were going. It was early in the day. Right across from a park, there was a car racing, and nobody showed.
Yeah, I tried looking that up as well. There was no call that was generated, so that's another thing that we'd have to look into. We didn't find a generated call or even an officer that was responding to that area for that call. This one, 2021.
Yeah, that was July 4th. Our neighbor told us.
Yeah, the captain and I tried looking for that call, and we didn't see that call that was generated. So I don't know where that was, where the confusion, if it was with our dispatchers, or, you know, I could look into that a little bit further, but I didn't see any call generated. Normally we will have an officer go out there and just check the area, but it's hard for me to say, you know, that was done since I don't see a log or anything that was generated. I can always go back and look at it and give an exact time, and I can even call our CHP dispatch in Glendale to see, you know, when that call was made and what was done with that call. Maybe it was transferred to the sheriff's department. I'm not sure.
Just to move things along, can we go on to our next question, Roy?
One thing I want to thank the officer for the subliminal message to become a city. Whoa. Next item, if you would be so kind as to evaluate at the on Fairway going northbound, you go under the freeway, and if you go over to Gale, they've got barriers. If you're going to do a left-hand turn onto Gale, they have barriers, and then it's all white stripe, but the barriers hide the double line, which is on the other side on a single lane, and it's that whole intersection right there is dangerous. So if you could evaluate that, and perhaps you could have some influence if they would have just taken that double yellow line and striped the other side of the barrier so you could see it, you know, it would really help out on the safety factor. So that's my plea for the day. Thank you.
No problem, Roy. I think that's something for Public Works. So I'm not sure if Public Works is on this call, but that's something that they could send somebody out, and obviously we can get in contact with them as well. If I don't know if Denise, if you have their contact info, maybe you can give it to Roy so he can let them know.
Okay, thank
Thank
you. We have one more question by Ritchey for CHP.
Quick question. Is the CHP responsible when you have homeless on the side of the freeway? For example, eastbound 60 right before Nogales, they have like a tent there behind the shrubbery.
No, we only provide security to Caltrans, but if that's an issue that you guys are having, we can always direct your call to Caltrans, and then Caltrans will use us basically as security to make sure that nothing happens to their employees when they go out there to post signs to get them off the freeway. So I can relay that message to the proper Caltrans yard that it belongs to.
Because isn't that trespassing? Because I've seen the CHP move homeless off.
We do.
off-ramp.
I mean, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see that it's starting to pick up a little bit more. We know that during the pandemic, there was like a court order that would not allow anybody to move anybody from anywhere in LA County, at least, without providing any proper, reestablishment. So Caltrans was not enforcing that, and they were just kind of during the pandemic allowing them to stay there. But now that restrictions are being lifted, they're offering services, and those that do not take services, they're either being asked to move or they're being cited.
And how do you complain to Caltrans directly?
You can. Let me. I'll find out. If you'd like, I'll give you guys my email address. Just send me an email, and then I can forward the information to you guys.
Denise, if you let me help Ray in the CHP there, I had direct contact with Mary over, and it's Caltrans East. That's their divisional headquarters, because this is the second time that I've turned on, and I have a brand new video on my YouTube channel, by the way, of this exact same thing. The guy, the person lived there, he's gone. But there's just a humongous trash thing there. Just go to my YouTube channel, and also you can go on their website and put in a service request, and then you have documentation. I did it again today. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Marco. I appreciate your report tonight.
Anytime.
Okay, so we're gonna get started with the public comment session of our meeting. And what I would like to do is let everybody know who is speaking this evening that you will have 3 minutes. And if you'd like additional time, we can look at that. But at this point, we're gonna do 3 minutes because I don't know how many people are going to be speaking. So let's start with Ritchey and your Airbnb question. Or your
It's not a statement, but from what I've noticed, talking about a local Airbnb, there seems to be regulations on the books which aren't being enforced for either the requirement to have a building permit, not building permit, basically a business license that's not being enforced, the bed tax isn't being enforced, and we're also just not enforcing in general. It was due to COVID, but now it seems to be there's basically somebody's running an unlicensed hotel, and there seems to be no enforcement, and you're talking about new rules so they can actually do this, but are those rules going to happen? That's my question, because it's just an amazing amount of Airbnbs, which is attracting wrong type of people to our city. So you have like the shootout you had on Fullerton where somebody died because of coming here.
Thank you, Ray. The county will respond to that whenever they speak it on the agenda. Okay, the next person that we have is Mary Price.
Yes, hi Denise. Actually, this is real quick. I live by the golf course, and so that I'm sure that you are all aware, and I know that Henry have mentioned that you guys are monitoring the situation. A few groups of neighbors or neighborhoods, we have started multiple groups going out there trying to do our best to pull all this information and trying to communicate amongst each other. I just want to know if anyone from RHCCC, or is there someone being assigned, or can we have someone being in charge to take care of this so that we all pour into the question to that one funnel so that we don't get questions repeatedly being asked to Peter or going back to us. Like, is that someone that we can address this to?
I'm going to go ahead and respond to that after public comment. Okay, is there Susan Trautz?
Yes, I'm Susan Trautz. Thank you, Denise. And do we have the county here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for being present. My primary concern was the outreach efforts with regard to notifying the community about this development, primarily the timing. Many of us who did receive the yellow postcard had maybe 4 weeks notice. As we were talking with our neighbors, they didn't receive it. As Mary Happy Price has said, we've done a lot of outreach, knocking on doors, making phone calls, passing out flyers. But I think that a good effort, good faith effort towards outreach would have gone a long way to helping us communicate with regard to this project. And then also the format for the July 28th meeting being online. As we can see today, we waited a half hour for the county to come, and we had some technical difficulties. This is not the best venue if you really want to hear what the neighborhood wants to say, what the community wants to say. I also have concerns about the scope of the plan. Primarily, we don't know what the scope is other than what's on the map. We don't know the size of the homes. Are they going to be marketed as multi-generational homes as the others have been done in our neighborhood? What's the parking like? Are they going to be 3-story structures on small plots? What's the price point? And is that really going to be affordable housing? What percentage of the subdivision is affordable housing? What's the ingress and egress like into existing neighborhoods? I think if you want to do a good job working with the community, you need to know your constituents. So talk to us. We're open, we're ready, but you need to pull us in. We're doing the best we can to get the word out, but we're just a few people. And everyone that we knock on the door, they either don't speak the language, and so we need to outreach and have interpreters. And if possible, I know I've already spoken with Peter at the county, and they don't have the manpower to translate into languages other than English. So many of our community members are doing the translations for you. We are trying to help. Partner with us, please. And then the impact on the community. Is my time up?
Yes, it is. Thank
Okay.
you.
Denise, how do we get on the talk list here? I don't see anything, chat or anything.
In the chat, people are putting what they want to talk about, and I'm going right down the line.
For some reason, I cannot find that chat box. Is it on?
Next, it's up on the top right-hand corner, and it's like a little voice box.
Okay, I'm trying here.
Okay, the next person that we have is Hasselgrave.
Actually, Denise, I yield my 3 minutes to Susan. I would like Susan to continue. Susan, please can use my 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hasselgrave. So I just have a few notes about the impact to the community. Traffic. Colima is the main thoroughway in this area. It's already congested. Talk about the Lemon. Lemon has an on-ramp to the 60 freeway. The 5760 interchange is a mess. I said before, know your constituents. We're caring, we're a community. We welcome development. We're not saying no. I know some of you are, but just talk with us. This can be done, and it can be done well, accepted by the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Next on the list is George Funk. George, you're muted. Hold on. For some reason, you're muted on your, okay. Let's do Sonny, D-U.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Sonny, and I'm one of the residents nearby the Royal Vista Golf Course. As my neighbor stated, that there will be a tremendous underlying issue once the new community has been built. For example, the CHP is already understaffed. Imagine that you're gonna move about 300 more families. Each family takes an average about three people or 4 people in the household. We talk about a new 1,000 people in this land. How about schools? How about the power? How about the water? How about the wild habitat? I always assume that Rowan is one of the good communities to live. But compared to the neighboring city, our percentage of the green field versus the land extremely low. In Hacienda Heights, take example, we have a Chevron Park. In Diamond Bar, number of the parks, Walnut, number of parks. But how many parks or green areas does Roland have? I only know that we have a Roland Park. That was it. And there are a few others, but that was it. You can't say that because it's an open space and you are mandatory to build new houses. Are you saying that all the golf courses should be get rid of and build new homes? We need our space. We need our green spaces. And not communicating to the community neighbors. That's not cool. And I don't think that will. And basically, I want the prosperous of this land. And making the money is just by receiving the yellow postcard. I just think that they are chasing the money and want to screw up this land. So thank you.
Thank you. Linda Koo. Linda Koo.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I have a few comments, especially for the county, and I hope Lauren is online. I was actually very surprised when I received the yellow postcards. It caught me very off guard. Usually I read the minutes that's sent out by the coordinating council, so I kind of know what's going on. And so just by receiving the postcard and not going through the community coordinating council, I don't know what happened there. Was your office notified of this development and just failed to tell us about it? And my second question is, when can we have in-person meeting? We would like to have an in-person meeting instead of the online meeting format, because as you could see, I had a hard time getting on, and I'm sure there's other people that didn't know that you have to first download some app to get on, and there was a lot of technical difficulties. My other issue is, I think Peter should have been here tonight to answer some more questions, because we have a lot of questions, and instead of us calling him directly and he has to deal with us, it would have been more efficient if Peter was here. So I don't know why he wasn't invited to the meeting tonight. I'm also wondering, what are we doing as the community coordinating council? What are our next steps, and what are our game plan as to how we're gonna approach this, or how we're gonna kind of take this development on? I spoke to Peter today, and he said that there were 924 postcards submitted within, and I believe it was like 1,000 square feet surrounding the project, plus all the people on the mailing list of the coordinating council. So that to me seems like a low number. I'm just wondering if you could confirm if you have sent out notices to all the members of this coordinating council so that they're aware of this development. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. George Funk, do you want to see if you can unmute yourself and speak?
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name obviously is George Funk, but my family. My family built this home here when this golf course was built, and strictly because of the beautiful view and the wildlife and where it sits. And I'm saddened to think that they were just going to change all this without even telling us. And it's been here for 3 generations as it is, and we've enjoyed it, and we would like to share it with 3 more generations. And I just wish that they would have did this, as she said earlier, with some integrity and got with us, sent out more notifications, emails. I mean, they have our address. The yellow cards? No. So I just want to say that our county leaders need to stand up for us, and we don't have the resources around here in reality. I mean, we have small grocery stores. We don't have very many other facilities. And the golf course is maintained, as you know, by, not the same water we use. It doesn't come to me right now, but it's recycled, reclaimed water. So the green space comes from our green water, and we need that. I love the geese and the animals, and I just wish they'd have done this with more integrity. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Roy Humphreys.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'll try to make it. I've listened to what the persons have stated here. Also, people are probably aware I'm very active on the Buzz and Nextdoor. Also, I put out the Rolling Heights Gazette. And the big issue here, all of which that you commented on here as far as the golf course situation, I posted extensively on both the Buzz and Nextdoor that you can do. And with much good deal, this meeting that's coming up is not meant to be a public hearing at all. And the 1,000 letters that they sent out are pursuant to the codes. Most people that I've listened to, they're just unaware of the policy and procedures that have gone through the county. They sent out the 1,000, which is totally ineffective because, like me, I get that stuff in the mail, boop, it's in the trash before I even look at it. So people, educate yourselves in the process. And the big thing is, we're not a city. So there's certain things that you aren't going to get aware of. They did what they were supposed to do according to the rules and regulations. If you're not happy with it, become a city. That's what it's all about. The other thing besides all of this is that as far as the freeway and so forth, that if you don't get out there and do something, what are you going to, besides that, the ghetto can over on Otterbein has been taken care of. So people, educate yourselves, and you find out from this, if you know what the state has done to you, as far as the regulations go. And here's the other thing, if it wasn't for that this was a, going from a commercial to a residential thing, if it was straight resident, they wouldn't have to do anything as far as goes. They could do the rubber stamp where if it meets, and we had it on the last coordinating council meeting, that if it meets the criteria for development, guess what? There's no public hearing, there's no nothing. And as to the water situation, the fact is, nothing has been submitted to the county as far as the plans are. Nothing has been submitted, and that's why you're not seeing any great detail. What you're happening, was it the 28th on this thing, is, guess what? It's a trial balloon to see what the emotions are. And a lot of people, they think this is like the Sunland thing. Sunland thing is no comparison. They did a trial balloon on this thing once before. but the golf course people got the money together to maintain it as it was. So one, educate yourselves. And if you want some power, become a city. And as far as the integrity thing goes, they did it to where the rules and regulations state. Folks, have a good night.
Okay.
One more thing. Tomorrow is the supervisors meeting, and you can get in the queue for to do just like we're doing right now, public comment at 9 o'clock. Be there.
Hey, your time is up. Thank you.
Oh.
Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? David, I noticed that you have some, David Funk. I see that you have some, you want to speak?
Yes.
Am I on?
Yes, David.
I'm sorry. This house has been here for many, many years, and I don't want to look at rooftops. I want to look at everything I've always looked at for generations, you know? And there are many houses all along this ridge down here that look down on us that don't want to see that either. Shit. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else that wishes to speak?
Sorry, so this is Sonny. I'd like to see where does RHCCC stands on this issue, because I think that you have heard our residents comment about it. Most of them are opposed to this development, and I mean, it would be lovely to see that RHCCC can stand with us and have a fight from.
Okay, as far as RHCCC goes, because I don't see that there's anybody else, I don't see that there's anybody else that would like to speak.
Excuse me, I did. I just signed up in the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Who is this?
I am Susan Trautz again speaking, and I just want to respond to Mr. Humphreys, because we are trying to educate ourselves, Mr. Humphreys, and Peter Chow has done a nice job of responding to some of our questions, but it's just difficult to get it out to the entire community. Everybody is busy. Everyone is doing their best. I don't think it's too much to ask the county to help us out in that area. But I would like to share what Peter Chow said. So you said to educate ourselves so that I can at least share what we've learned so far. Let's see. The project will be associated with subdivisions, and so there's a land divisions fact sheet. And for the plan amendment, see the following. So he's sending us links, and then he says time frames vary greatly among subdivision projects, so it is difficult to give a time frame. I will say that it is rare for any subdivision project to go to a hearing before 1.5 to 2 years. When asked when does the Regional Planning Commission make their decision, he says since this project will be associated with subdivision plan, the applicant must first get clearance. The project must be cleared by the subdivision committee first, then taken to the Regional Planning Commission hearing, and because of the plan amendment and zone change, be taken to the Board of Supervisor hearing. Though I cannot give you a definite timeline as to when the project will go to hearing, subdivisions typically go through a series of submittals and revisions before it is taken to a hearing for final decision. I asked what they based their judgment on, the Regional Planning Commission or committee. He said, this is Peter Chow again, the planner will provide a hearing package. That's Peter Chow, provides a staff report, analysis of the project, findings and conditions of approval, and any public comments. Submits them to the Regional Planning Commission for review. In addition, public testimonials will be part of the public record, and the commission takes those all into consideration as well. And finally, I asked if the decision is to amend the Rowland Heights plan, what happens next? He says for the July 28th meeting, if the Regional Planning Committee agrees to initiate the plan amendment, the applicant will be allowed to submit their plans and go through the subdivision and planning process. If the project is cleared by the subdivision committee, it will then be taken to Regional Planning Commission hearing for a decision. And because of the plan amendment and zone change, will then be taken to the Board of Supervisors hearing for a final decision. Now listen to this last part. In addition, the applicant is required by the Rowland Heights Community Plan to conduct one public outreach meeting in Rowland Heights and must be publicly noticed. The key is publicly noticed. They have to do a better job than today. And that's all I would like to say.
Thank you.
Unmuted.
Okay. I don't see anybody else that's listed that wanted to speak, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow the...
Sorry, Dr. Hasselgrave is there in the chat saying she will like to speak.
Yes, please, just for a few seconds. Thank you, Susan. Susan is my neighbor, and we are both appalled to find out in a really backdoor way, through a yellow card, of this development. So I absolutely support idea. It must be publicly notified in a meaningful way. I'm fully bilingual Chinese, so I'll be happy to help with that effort. Volunteer for that. You have to let us know in a meaningful, timely way and give us an in-person meeting, not through, we have way too many seniors, people who've been here many years that are not comfortable with the online format. My daughter is 2 years old when we moved into the neighborhood. I poured my entire savings to be able to afford a house here. She is now 31 years old, and my grandson of 8-month-old also just bought a house in Rowland Heights. So my daughter's family want to enjoy the same thing that she enjoyed while living at my house. My house is across the street from the golf course.
Thank you.
It's like taking away my bigger backyard. You're changing my livelihood, and that's not okay.
Not at all.
Thank you.
I can hear you, David. Turn off the microphone.
Is there anybody else?
Can I do a little add in there, Denise?
Or if it's a question, yes.
Well, it's applauding the young lady who put out the stuff in detail. I didn't realize tonight was going to be a focus on that golf course thing. And again, on the education part, as far as public notification, the 1,000 that they sent out, that's what the rules say as far as public notification goes. And now, as far as the why
Let me just interrupt you, Roy. This is not a public meeting for Royal Vista. These are concerned constituents of the county that are voicing their opinion. I can give our position as RHCCC after the county does, but I can tell you that this was not meant to be a public forum for the county and for the developer who is also online.
Oh, because everybody else has been talking about it.
Public comment, and it's open to any subject. It just happens to be Royal Vista at this moment.
Okay. We've done it.
Muted.
Okay, so what we're going to do is
Unmuted.
Go ahead and turn this over to Supervisor Hahn. It's my understanding that Jayme Wilson is going to respond to the comments that were made today, and then we'll have a brief comment from the developer who has been online, but this is not going to be one of those things where it goes back and forth, because we could be here all night, and I don't think that's fair to anybody. So, Jayme Wilson, if you would like to respond, that would be appreciated.
Good evening. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I'm here strictly to learn and listen from what the constituents, the questions they're asking. But I want to clarify something. The meeting at the Regional Planning Commission is not there to approve this project. This project is going to go through a series of approval processes, a series of public meetings, then go back again to the Regional Planning Commission, and then go to the Board of Supervisors. So this is just an initial meeting scheduled in July to allow the regional planning to look at and analyze the project. It's not to approve the project. It's not to move the project forward quickly. And it's just the first of many, which I think will take at least 18 months, if not longer, to get done. So I want to rest assured everyone that nothing is going to be approved at the Regional Planning Commission on the meeting at the end of July. It's to accept an application and allow the county to study it. Just starts the process. It does not come anywhere near to end the process. So I think that's very important. And you know, I'm not with the developer. Obviously, I'm with Supervisor Hahn. I know that the developer has wanted to meet with your committee, your council, for at least 6 months. I know the developer would like to have a public meeting to share their thoughts with you. I think that's very important. But again, I want to repeat that the meeting at the end of this month is strictly to allow the county to look at their plans and to study them. And then there's a lengthy process that's going to go through before anything gets done. I mean, there's no way, nothing that happens on the 27th is going to allow them to start building this project. It's a long way away. So I wrote down some things that was questions that were asked. You know, I do believe this is going to be a very transparent process. Everything requires public notice. Everything requires everyone to see plans. The questions that Susan asked about how big are the buildings, how tall are the buildings, are they multi-generational, all those are very legitimate questions. Questions asked, is there enough water? Of course it's a legitimate question. Traffic studies. They'll have to analyze the traffic. And is there more traffic by 320 homes or more traffic by an active golf course? I don't know. Those are all studies that needed to get done. What I will say, in the last 5 years, there has been 4 different development plans submitted. There are developers that wanted to talk about doing exactly redeveloping the whole golf course. Some with as many as 1,000, 1,200 homes. This project, as Susan or someone else noted, has 320 homes. So I think comparing it to the other projects, this is the least intensive development that I have seen or heard of in the last 5 years. But again, that's up for you, the community, to decide. You know, the traffic studies need to get done. The layout of the homes, the heights, the depths, the 2 parks that are created, the trails that are created, all that stuff needs to be discussed fully, and we will require that. I know the developer wants to do that, and I'm 100% in support that before anything moves forward, I'm not saying accepting application, but before anything moves forward, there will be an opportunity for live in-person meetings on this project. So that's all I'd like to say tonight. Again, thank you for allowing me to watch and participate, and I look forward to more of these meetings. Did I put everyone to sleep?
No, sorry, I muted myself and I was trying to get unmuted. Thank you, Jayme. I appreciate your comments. As far as RHCCC goes, I would like to say that what Jayme said about the 6 months, them trying to get in to present, that's not true. I'm going to give a little bit of background as to what we know and what we've been told. RHCCC was notified in February on short notice. We agreed to listen to a proposal from the developer. We received a brief presentation, but was provided sparse information. We asked for additional information that we never received. We asked for the county to wait to have an in-person meeting on this issue because we definitely wanted them to present to our community before we took a position. We asked the county to wait to have an in-person meeting because of COVID at the time in February. There were restrictions everywhere, so we knew that we weren't going to be able to meet in person. At that time, we didn't hear anything except for that they were considering waiting. That they were, the word that they used, they were inclined to delay the meeting so that it could be heard in person, was what I have. I was notified by a member on social media that we had the yellow cards go out this last 2 weeks ago. And as soon as I got that information, I started to distribute it all over social media. I immediately began receiving phone calls to my personal line, to my personal email, basically asking what was going on. I have been trying to work with the county to try and get them to open up the community center to have an in-person meeting, because we still support the idea that our community has the right to have an in-person meeting. We have not been granted that opportunity. So since this all started, I have been trying to reach out to churches, to other public county offices to get the private meeting that's open and in an in-person setting, because we realize that the virtual does not work for everybody, and that's where it's at. I've sent out emails, I've posted on social media the things that we've received. We want the open meeting. We want to be able to challenge whatever comes our way. And that's where RHCCC stands. We want a public meeting to where we can actually have in-person meetings with the people who want to attend in person, because we understand that there is technical issues with having this all done virtually. So that's our position right now. We are more than happy to continue to work towards getting the information out to the public, but we are limited. We don't have a newsletter. We don't have the things that we would like to have. So I will continue to reach out and take phone calls and respond to emails with whatever information that we have. And so that's what our position is at this time. What I will do is I have promised to give the developer who has been on this meeting, that was invited by the county to appear at this meeting, and I will give him the opportunity to have 3 minutes to respond to everything that's been going on tonight. And so at this time, if Mr. Conk is available, I will, you can unmute yourself, and I will go ahead and set the timer.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for giving me just a minute to address some of your questions tonight. I don't want to talk to you tonight, but what I do want to say is that we are available and would want to do that as soon as possible. As Denise said, we met with the Rolling Heights Executive Committee on February 20th, or on February 10th, and we gave them a presentation of the project, and the project hasn't really changed much since that point in time. At that meeting, we offered to, we mentioned our desire to meet with full membership of your council at the March meeting and also at the April meeting. And we also said, anytime the council wants to meet with us, we're available to meet as many times as you like, whenever, wherever you'd like. So that offer is on the table. It has been since February. And we want to meet with you. We know public outreach is important. The comments you made tonight, I completely understand all of them. I completely understand also and agree with the comments that the county made regarding the process. I want you to know, and from our standpoint, that we're not thinking that this project is going to be approved on July 28th. This is the very, very beginning of a very long process, and we are open to discussion and open to public comment. We want to get your comments, and we'd like to have a meeting with your group as soon as we possibly can. We are planning a low-density development, as the county said. Single-family detached homes similar to what is adjacent to you, with generous setbacks, with lots of public parks, over 7 acres of public parks and 2 miles of trails. We want to design and develop a project that you will enjoy living adjacent to. The golf course is going out of business. It's owned by multiple landowners, and they no longer have an agreement to continue operating the golf course. It's a month-to-month agreement, could end at any time. We've purchased portion of the golf course from two of those landowners, and we want to build a responsible development that will fit with the existing character of the community. And we want to be good neighbors. We want to be open. We want to discuss with you what we're proposing and what you'd like to incorporate. We want to get your comments. So we look forward to the opportunity to meet with your full group, present the project, get your comment and feedback, and go from there. Thanks for giving me just a minute tonight to talk to you.
Denise, can we have Kerry Chun from the Chinese Association give his input from what's happening on with the Chinese Association?
Yes, but we're going to give an opportunity to Roland Unified School District first and see if anybody else is on the agenda that's still here.
Okay. It's you.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and start, Denise.
Yes, thank you, David.
On August 9th, the district is excited to welcome students back to campus for full-time in-person instruction for the 21-22 school year, while continuing our focus on student safety, care, and connection. The health and safety of our students and staff is our top priority as we welcome them back. We will continue to follow all health and safety guidelines by Los Angeles County Department of Public Health. Among the many measures that we have implemented so far, FDA-approved infrared thermal screening cameras that are installed at all school sites in the district office, upgraded classroom ventilation systems, clearly marked social distancing pathways and signage, plexiglass dividers on each student desk, touchless water bottle filling stations, and touchless hand sanitizer stations in all classrooms. And recently, the state has mandated that all K through 12 students must wear masks while they're attending school. We're going to have a parent meeting on July 27th at 6 p.m. Information will be on the school website. It'll be on a Tuesday at 6 p.m. And just go to the district website and we'll give the information on how to get involved and link into that web presentation. And that's all I have right now.
Thank you, David. Do we have any questions for the Roland Unified School District? Okay, then we're going to move on to Jill Dolan from Mount San Antonio College.
Good evening from Mount Sac, and it's west-facing campus here in North Hollywood. We are back on campus. Mount Sac is open for business. The bookstore is open. Summer session's underway, and like Roland Unified, we will be having in-person classes in the fall. I think I mentioned last time that pre-pandemic we only had about 5 or 6% of our classes online, and this fall it'll range from 20 to 30%. So we'll have more robust online offerings as well as in-person classes back. On Wednesday, we're celebrating the official groundbreaking of our Student Center and our Transit Center. The Student Center is funded by Measure GO, so we are thankful and grateful to our district residents who voted in favor of that bond measure. The top floor will have enough space for community events, so that'll be open to any and every group that would like to use that space. I think it has the capacity for about 900 people. The Transit Center is a collaborative project with Foothill Transit. They are basically footing the whole bill for it. They received a federal grant, and it'll have 10 bays for, I think it's electric-powered buses, and it'll help connect Cal Poly, Mount Sac, and then going west to El Monte, and it's part of our goal to become responsible stewards of the community. So by encouraging people to take public transit, we hope to reduce our greenhouse gases. If you've also gone by campus lately, you'll see that there are 2 parking structures now. One is right next to the stadium. It's known as the Champion parking structure. And then there's another one that's right there on Temple and Bonita that is the former Lot S, and now it's going to be called the Gateway structure. So in the interest of all the public comments that probably still want to come, I'll wrap up my report and wish you a great rest of the week. Thank you.
Unmute yourself.
Thank you, Jill. I appreciate your comments. Anybody have any questions regarding Mount SAC?
Yeah, Denise, on behalf of the San Gabriel Valley Chamber of Commerce, I want to thank Mount SAC and administration for allowing us to start up our farmers market.
That's right.
We had our first opening last Saturday, and we'll continue every Saturday. So thank you, Mount SAC.
Glad to have it back.
Okay, we're going to, thank you, Jill. We appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and have Lauren Yokomizo present the ongoings of the county that don't have to do with Royal Vista.
Really?
Unmute yourself.
Lauren, you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that. Thanks. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to provide a quick community update. So, as someone who was doing the comment earlier had asked about Airbnbs, and I wanted to just speak to that briefly because we know that it's an issue. So, depending on what's taking place at the Airbnb, we can certainly address. What would be most effective is when we have an ordinance. So that's something that the county is working on, and putting together an ordinance to regulate short-term rentals. So Airbnbs included. Airbnb does have a zero tolerance for parties. So if it's a party home, a rowdy party, and there's an impact to your community, to your neighborhood, please go ahead and, depending on what's happening, you can either call a sheriff's department. You could also report that issue directly to Airbnb. That would be my suggestion. We'll let you know once we have a draft ordinance to more effectively regulate these types of rentals. We can also look into some other issues that would apply to our zoning code. So you can email me that information, that just provide us with the address, and we'll look into it. And then lastly, I just wanted to let everyone know that Supervisor Hahn will be supporting or sponsoring concerts in the park. So Shabaram Park will be having its first concert on August 12th at 7 p.m. And then we will do a second concert August 26th. So we'll pass around a flyer, and we would appreciate if you would help us share, invite your neighbors, and we'll see you out there. That's all I have. Thanks so much, everyone, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions for us.
Does anybody have any questions for Lauren? Thank you, Lauren. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Okay, we've basically ran way over our time that we normally have for our presentation. And so I've released the fire department to go right around 8:15 or 8 o'clock. Actually, it was 8:10. And so they're going to come back next month to present because they didn't have enough time to present the presentation that they had. So with that being said, we will be in contact. If you would like to get information to RHCCC, please feel free to email their membership email, or you can do it at president@roland-heights.com for information. I'm going to send an email out shortly with any updates that we may have regarding the ongoings of Royal Vista, and that would be all that I have unless there's some other questions. Okay, this meeting was recorded, so I will have it available if somebody wants a copy of it. Just let me know.
Denise, quickly, one more quickie there from Mr. Conk. I guess that's his name for the project, that if, I don't care who you want to give it to or how he wants to get it on the conduit, the Buzz has 12,000 members. So to get it on the Buzz, and Nextdoor has, I think, 5,500. You know, so if we can get those posted.
Those people that are on the Buzz generally are not people from our community. They're people from all over the state.
Yeah, but
so
there are a lot of people from Roland Heights on there. Lots of 5,000, 6,000, maybe 8. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. The more the merrier.
Thank you, Roy. Any other comments? Okay, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.